If you've been charged with domestic violence and you're in the middle of a custody dispute, or you have children with someone, that can impact your custody rights. Under Nevada law, you're presumed to be an unfit parent when you are convicted of domestic battery, or if the other party can prove by clear and convincing evidence that you have committed an act of domestic battery. Domestic violence is a serious issue that needs to be dealt with quickly. One of the things that I recommend is getting an attorney as soon as possible to protect your parenting rights. While I understand that going to jail is scary and paying fines and fees and how that's going to impact you is scary, after a court enters an order that impacts your custodial rights as a parent, sometimes it's very difficult to undo that and get back to joint custody. If you've been charged with domestic violence, we need to take action in your custody case quickly. We need to make sure that you're taking proactive steps to prevent you from losing any of your custodial rights. If you've been charged with domestic battery and you're in the middle of a divorce or your spouse files for divorce, you could be worried about the fact that that might financially impact you. Typically, a domestic violence charge does not impact your financial rights to property under the law in your divorce case. There are exceptions to that. For example, if you cause severe injury. If your spouse incurred hospital bills because of a domestic violence incident, then you could have an offset of your part of the community that's given to your spouse to take care of those bills. But usually, it's not going to be taken into consideration. It's very similar to a cheating spouse. That's also not taken into consideration. Just to think about, domestic violence can have very big consequences, but usually you're not going to have that in your divorce case and which assets are confirmed to be community property. If you're charged with domestic battery, the person that's alleging that you battered them can get a protective order. If that person is the same person as your child's parent, they can also ask that the children be protected. So under that order, you could be ordered to have no contact with your children. The court in a protective order can also limit your contact with the children. Also, even if the person who's claiming you committed an act of domestic battery is not the parent of your child, that child's other parent can file into a custody case and get temporary orders that prevent you from having either unsupervised contact, the same amount of custodial time that you've been exercising under the current order. Under Nevada law, once you're convicted of domestic battery or you're charged with domestic battery, you can be dealing with issues in a custody case or divorce. In that, you are going to be not prioritized over the welfare of the child. And what I mean by that is that you're presumed to be an unfit parent with a domestic violence charge. In family court, the court is going to always prioritize the best interest of the child, which means that even if you haven't been found guilty, and even if the evidence hasn't been presented to the court, if there is a concern that you are not safe for the children, they're going to take steps to hinder your custodial time with the children. It could be things such as supervision at a place. It could be supervision by a family member. It could be limited time, so you have less time with the children, but they're going to take steps to make sure that the children are safe while that criminal case is still pending. They take steps to make sure the kids are safe because the best interest of the kids is the only standard that the family court cares about in a custody matter. If it is later proven that the allegation was fabricated, then you're in a position to get make-up time with the kids, meaning that the judge can order you to have extra time than what they would normally order you to have so that you can still rebuild and maintain that relationship with your kids. However, whatever happens, it's best that you talk to an attorney quickly so that you can get direction on what steps you need to take to protect your time with your children. If you have any questions, you're facing domestic violence charges, you have a custody case or a divorce case that's ongoing, you're concerned about how that domestic violence case is going to affect your custodial rights and your relationship and time with your kids, give us a call. We're happy to help get you on the right track so you can protect that very important relationship.